If you believe cancer is something that slowly builds up out of nowhere after the age of 50, then what I am about to share with you today may completely change how you see your own body. Because in certain regions of Japan, places like Okinawa, and the coastal towns of Nagano, people over 50 are not just living longer. They are living with dramatically lower cancer progression rates. And I am not talking about small differences. I am talking about numbers that have made researchers around the world stop and pay attention for decades. And here is the part that surprises most people. It is not because of better hospitals. Japan does not have some magical medical technology that the rest of the world does not have access to. It is not because of expensive treatments or some secret drug. And it is definitely not something only a wealthy person can afford. It comes down to a simple daily habit. Done twice a day. Once in the morning. Once in the evening. A habit that directly interferes with how cancer cells grow, how they feed themselves, and how they spread. So here is the real question I want you to sit with for just a moment. What if your body already has the ability to fight cancer? What if that ability is built into your biology, into your cells right now as you are watching this? And what if your daily routine, the things you do without even thinking about them every single morning and night, is quietly, slowly shutting that ability down? That is what we are going to talk about today. For decades, researchers studying populations with unusually long, healthy lives in Japan kept noticing something that did not fit the standard explanation. It was not just how long these people lived. It was the quality of how they lived. Their bodies resisted serious disease even well into their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Not just slowing down gradually but actively resisting. And the more researchers dug into the data, the clearer the pattern became. It was not genetics. You might want it to be genetics because that would make the whole thing simpler. If it is in your genes, then it is out of your control and you can stop worrying about it. But the data kept pointing somewhere else. It was not luck. It was not geography. It was not something in the water. It was behavior. Specific, repeatable, daily behavior, especially in the first hour of the morning and the last few hours before sleep. These behaviors created an internal environment in the body where abnormal cells struggled to survive. Now here is where it gets very interesting. Researchers tracked what happened when people from these same regions moved to Western countries, the United States, Australia, the United Kingdom, and adopted Western lifestyles. They ate differently. They moved differently. They slept differently. They changed their morning and evening routines. And within one generation, not 2 or 3 generations, within one generation, their cancer risk rose sharply. It matched, or in some cases exceeded, the rates seen in the general Western population. So what changed? The genes did not change. The people were the same people. What changed was the habit. What changed was the daily routine. And with that routine, the internal biology changed too. Most people, if they are being honest, want to believe that their health is mostly predetermined, that it is in their genes, that their family history is their destiny. And I understand why. It is a comforting thought in a strange way, because if your health is already decided, then there is nothing to fix. There is no responsibility. You just live your life and accept whatever comes. But the evidence tells a very different story. And here is something you need to understand, something that is not talked about enough. Your genes are not a fixed sentence. They are more like a light switch panel on a wall. Whether a gene turns on or stays off depends largely on the environment you create inside your own body. That environment is shaped every single day by what you eat, when you eat, how you sleep, and the biochemical signals you send to your cells through your habits. When habits change, outcomes change. This is not theory. This is what the data shows again and again. So let me ask you something honestly. If your daily routine is shaping your internal biology every single day, and it is, wouldn't you want to know exactly what it is doing to you right now? Hi, my name is Dr. Hannah Sato. I trained in medicine in both China and Japan, and I have spent over 2 decades working directly with patients. Real people navigating the very real challenges of aging, chronic illness, and cancer risk. I have sat across from patients in clinic rooms and had the conversations that nobody wants to have. I have watched people receive results that could have looked very different if they had been given the right information years earlier. And that is exactly why I am here. I am not here to frighten you. I am here because what I am about to walk you through is not guesswork. It is not something I made up. It is based on how your body actually functions at the cellular level. And once you understand it, you will never look at your morning and evening routine the same way again. After the age of 50, 3 critical systems in your body begin to slow down at the same time. And the dangerous thing is, they do it quietly. You do not feel it happening. There is no alarm. No warning light. Just happens. The first system is DNA repair. Every single time one of your cells divides, and your cells divide billions of times throughout your life, there is a chance for an error. Copying mistake. A mutation. Your body has a remarkable system for catching and correcting those mistakes. Specialized proteins that scan the new DNA, find the errors, and fix them before they become a problem. After 50, that system becomes slower, less accurate. Errors that used to be caught get missed, and missed errors accumulate. The second system is immune surveillance. Your immune system does not just fight colds and infections. It is also constantly scanning your body for abnormal cells, Cells that are behaving strangely, growing where they should not, dividing when they should stop. When the immune system is working well, it finds those cells early and destroys them. After 50, the surveillance weakens. Abnormal cells that would have been caught and eliminated start surviving longer. Some of them grow. The third system is tumor growth suppression. Your body has built-in mechanisms that tell cells when to stop growing. Signals that put the brakes on uncontrolled division. After 50, those braking signals become weaker. And cancer cells are very good at exploiting any weakness. Now think about what it means that all three of these systems are declining at the same time. Millions of cells divide in your body every single second. Every division is an opportunity for an error. Every error that is not caught is a potential problem. Every abnormal cell that is not detected by the immune system is a potential threat. And every weakening of the growth suppression system is an opening. This is not meant to frighten you. This is meant to make clear why what you do every day, every single morning and evening, matters more after 50 than it ever did before. Are you supporting these systems? Or are you unknowingly weakening them every morning and night? In this teaching, I am going to walk you through 5 things. First, I will explain why the first hour of your morning and the last 2 hours before sleep are your most powerful defense windows, and what is actually happening in your biology during those times. Second, I will tell you about the specific compound found in a common Japanese daily drink that has been shown in multiple studies to disrupt the blood supply that cancer cells depend on to grow and spread. Third, I will explain the role of one specific group of gut bacteria that determines whether your immune system can actually detect and respond to abnormal cells, and how most people are unknowingly destroying that bacteria every day. Fourth, I will give you the exact morning and evening protocol that is practical, affordable, and can be started immediately. And fifth, I will tell you about the common everyday habits that cancel all of these benefits, habits that many people think are harmless or even healthy. And if you are already finding value in what I am sharing, please subscribe. I put out content like this regularly, and I want it to reach the people who need it. And if you are choosing not to subscribe, I genuinely would like to understand why. Tell me in the comments. Let me explain what is happening in your body at the cellular level, because once you understand this, the habit I am going to describe will make complete sense. Your body is constantly repairing itself. Right now, as you are watching this, your cells are patching damage, replacing worn-out components, clearing out debris, and resetting systems. This is your body's maintenance work, and it happens continuously. But after 50, the efficiency of this repair process declines. DNA damage accumulates faster than it can be fixed. The immune system's ability to scan for abnormal cells, what doctors call immune surveillance, becomes less sharp, and abnormal cells become harder to detect and destroy. Here is the important thing that most people are never told. Cancer cells do not just appear randomly and then immediately become dangerous. There is a process. Abnormal cells begin dividing. They need nutrients and oxygen to grow. To get those nutrients, they trigger the formation of new blood vessels that feed directly into the growing mass, a process called angiogenesis. And at the same time, they develop ways to hide from the immune system. They essentially put on camouflage, interrupt any one of those steps, disrupt the blood supply, sharpen the immune response, or support the DNA repair process, and you change the outcome. The Japanese daily habit that I am going to describe works because it addresses all 3 of these steps at the same time. Here is something that most health advice completely ignores. Your body operates on a clock. A biological clock that governs when your immune system is most active, when your repair mechanisms switch into high gear, and when your hormones do their most important work. Morning is when your immune system is most alert. In the first hour after you wake up, your body transitions from the repair and restore mode of sleep into an active surveillance mode. Your cortisol rises naturally, not in a stressful way, but as a biological wake-up signal that primes your immune cells and sharpens their activity. This is the window when your immune system is best positioned to do its job. Evening, on the other hand, is when your body begins its deepest repair and regeneration cycles. As the light fades and your melatonin begins to rise, your cells enter a kind of cleanup and rebuild mode. This is when cellular repair is most active. This is when your body processes the DNA corrections that need to be made. This is when your gut microbiome does a significant portion of its immune signaling work. Miss these 2 windows, do the wrong things in these 2 windows, and you miss your strongest natural defense opportunities every single day. So let me ask you this. What does your morning currently look like? Do you wake up and immediately reach for your phone? Do you rush through breakfast or skip it entirely? Do you drink something that spikes your blood sugar within the first 30 minutes? And your evening, do you eat a heavy meal late at night? Do you go to bed with a full stomach? Do you disrupt your sleep with screens and artificial light? Because if any of that is familiar, then those habits are working directly against the repair and surveillance systems your body needs most after 50. The Japanese daily habit that researchers have studied works because it activates all 3 of these critical systems together. Not just one. The first system it activates is immune surveillance. It provides specific compounds that support the immune cells responsible for identifying and eliminating abnormal cells before they can grow into something serious. The second system is DNA repair. It provides nutrients and signals that support the enzymes responsible for detecting and correcting errors in your DNA. The mistakes that, if left uncorrected, can eventually lead to uncontrolled cell growth. The third system is tumor growth suppression. It provides compounds that actively interfere with the process by which abnormal cells try to build their own blood supply. No blood supply, no growth. The cells starve. Most health advice targets only one of these systems. Take this supplement for immunity. Take that one for antioxidants. Eat this for gut health. But your body does not work in isolated compartments. These systems are connected. They communicate. They depend on each other. And this is exactly why this approach is so different, and why the research findings have been so consistent. The core of this daily habit is built around three things used together. And I want to be very specific about this because the details matter. The first element is green tea, but not just any green tea and not prepared anyway. Green tea contains a group of compounds called catechins. The most studied of these is a compound called E-epigallocatechin gallate. This is the compound that has drawn the most research attention, and here is why. EGCG has been shown in multiple laboratory and clinical studies to interfere with angiogenesis, the process I described earlier, where cancer cells trigger the formation of new blood vessels to feed their growth. Without those blood vessels, the tumor cannot get the oxygen and nutrients it needs. EGCG essentially cuts off the supply line. EGCG has also been shown to support immune cell activity, particularly the natural killer cells that are responsible for identifying and destroying abnormal cells. And it has been shown to have a direct effect on certain signaling pathways that cancer cells use to evade detection. But here is where the preparation matters. EGCG is heat sensitive. If you prepare green tea with boiling water, you destroy a significant portion of the active compounds before they ever reach your cup. The correct temperature is between 70 and 80 degrees Celsius, hot, but not boiling. This is one of the small but critical details that determines whether your cup of tea is actually doing what you think it is doing. The second element is a fermented food source. In traditional Japanese daily routines, this is typically miso or natto, fermented soy products. But the specific type matters less than the function. Fermented foods deliver live beneficial bacteria, probiotics, directly into your gut. And the reason this matters for cancer risk is something that is only now beginning to be fully understood. Your gut contains trillions of microorganisms that collectively make up what is called the gut microbiome. And your gut microbiome is not just about digestion. It is one of the most powerful regulators of your immune system. Roughly 70% of your immune activity is directly connected to what is happening in your gut. There is a specific group of gut bacteria, particularly strains of Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium, that produce short-chain fatty acids when they break down fiber. Those short-chain fatty acids do something remarkable. They communicate directly with your immune cells and enhance immune surveillance, the ability of your immune system to detect and respond to abnormal cells. When these bacteria are depleted, and they are depleted by sugar, processed food, alcohol, unnecessary antibiotics, and chronic stress, your immune surveillance weakens. The communication breaks down, and abnormal cells have a better chance of going undetected. Consuming fermented foods in the morning restores and maintains this bacterial population. It is a daily act of immune maintenance. The third element is a controlled eating pattern, specifically, not eating too much, and giving your body a period of time without food between the last meal of the previous evening and your morning meal. This is not extreme fasting. I am not asking you to go without food for 16 hours, but there is significant research showing that a natural overnight gap, even 12 hours, activates a cellular cleanup process called autophagy. Autophagy is your body's way of breaking down and recycling damaged cell components, including cells that are beginning to show abnormal behavior. Think of it like this. If you have a factory running 24 hours a day with no downtime, the machines break down, defective products pile up, and nothing gets cleaned. But give the factory a structured maintenance window, even a few hours, and the quality of everything it produces improves dramatically. That is what a natural eating gap does for your cells. In the regions of Japan where this daily routine has been practiced for generations, lower cancer progression rates are not an exception. They are the norm. And I want to be clear about what that means. Does not mean zero cancer. Does not mean immortality. It means that the body systems are supported well enough that abnormal cells are caught earlier, controlled more effectively, and less likely to progress into serious disease. Not because these people are trying harder. Not because they are suffering through difficult regimens. But because their daily rhythm, the simple, consistent things they do every single morning and evening, supports their biology. That is the power of a well-designed habit over time. Multiple long-term studies have confirmed what the population data suggested. Regular consumption of green tea and its active compounds is consistently associated with reduced cancer risk, particularly cancers of the digestive system, breast, and prostate. Specific plant compounds, including EGCG, have been shown to inhibit angiogenesis, the tumor blood supply formation I described earlier. In laboratory settings, this effect has been observed across multiple cancer cell types. Gut bacteria shifts. The difference between a microbiome rich in beneficial bacteria versus one that is depleted directly influence immune response, including the ability to detect and respond to abnormal cells. These are not small effects seen in a single study. They are measurable, repeatable findings across years of research, and they point consistently in the same direction. Let me walk you through the exact protocol. In the morning, before you do anything else, allow your body to fully wake. Give yourself at least 20 to 30 minutes before you consume anything. This allows your natural cortisol rhythm to do its job, to prime your immune cells and prepare your biology for the day. Then prepare your green tea. Water temperature between 70 and 80 degrees Celsius. Steep for 2 to 3 minutes. Do not add sugar. Do not add milk or cream. I will explain why in a moment. Drink your green tea. Then pair it with a small serving of a fermented food. Miso is ideal. Plain, live culture yogurt without added sugar is a practical alternative. Natto, if you can access it and tolerate the taste, is excellent. Even a small portion of kimchi or kefir works. Then eat a balanced, moderate breakfast. The key word is moderate. Do not overeat. A meal that is too large, too heavy, sends inflammatory signals through your system that work against everything you are trying to support. In the evening, the focus is different. Evening is about protecting the repair window. Avoid heavy, fatty, or highly processed food in the last 2 hours before sleep. A late, heavy meal forces your digestive system to work when it should be winding down, and it disrupts the gut microbiome activity that happens most effectively during rest. If you choose to have an evening cup of tea, a mild green tea or a tea with anti-inflammatory compounds, like ginger or turmeric, supports the evening repair process. And protect your sleep. Not just the duration but the quality. Darkness. Cool temperature. No screens in the last 30 minutes. Sleep is when the repair cycle does its deepest work. Disrupting sleep disrupts everything downstream. Small adjustments dramatically change the effectiveness of this routine. Adding a small amount of citrus, a squeeze of lemon juice, to your green tea significantly increases the bioavailability of EGCG. Studies have shown that the vitamin C in citrus prevents EGCG from breaking down in the digestive tract and allows much more of it to be absorbed into the bloodstream. This is a detail that most people miss. Avoid adding dairy to your green tea. The proteins in milk bind to catechins and prevent them from being absorbed. A cup of green tea with milk is, from the perspective of EGCG absorption, nearly useless. Consistency matters more than occasional intensity. One perfect week followed by 2 weeks of ignoring the routine produces very little benefit. The biological changes that matter, the shift in gut bacteria, the sustained support of immune surveillance, the reduction in inflammatory signals, these happen over weeks and months of regular practice. Now let me tell you about the mistakes, because this is where most people undo all of the work. The first mistake is adding sugar. Sugar in the morning, whether it is in your coffee, your cereal, your juice, or your flavored yogurt, triggers an immediate inflammatory response and suppresses immune activity for hours. A high-sugar morning routine is directly working against your immune system's ability to do surveillance. And most people do not realize that what they think of as a healthy breakfast is, in biological terms, an inflammatory event. The second mistake is adding the wrong things to your tea. Milk, as I mentioned, blocks EGCG absorption. Artificial sweeteners disrupt gut bacteria. The habit has to be done correctly or the benefit is significantly reduced. The third mistake is ignoring gut health and then taking a supplement to compensate. You cannot reliably compensate for a depleted microbiome with a probiotic capsule if you are simultaneously eating a diet that destroys beneficial bacteria. The foundation has to be there. The daily fermented food is what maintains that foundation. The fourth mistake is relying entirely on supplements. EGCG supplements exist. Probiotic supplements exist. And while some of them have value, the research on whole food sources consistently shows stronger effects than isolated supplementation. The compounds in green tea work together. They are not as effective when extracted and taken alone. And the fifth mistake, the one that is perhaps the most important, is doing the right things inconsistently and then wondering why nothing seems to be working. Consistency is the mechanism. Without it, there is no signal. Your biology responds to patterns. I also want to acknowledge something practical. Not everyone has access to Japanese fermented foods. Not everyone lives in a place where natto or miso is readily available. Not everyone has the time or the resources to build this routine exactly as I have described it. That is okay. The core principles are what matter. Support your gut bacteria with fermented foods, whatever form that takes in your part of the world. Drink green tea at the right temperature without blocking the absorption. Give your body a natural overnight rest from eating. Protect your sleep. The specific foods can flex. The underlying biology does not. What matters is that you build a pattern. A consistent daily pattern that sends the right signals to your body's repair and defense systems. Your body responds to what you do repeatedly, not what you do perfectly once. So let me bring this together for you. After 50, your DNA repair slows down. Your immune surveillance weakens. Your tumor growth suppression becomes less effective. These are not opinions. These are documented, measurable biological changes that happen in every human body as it ages. But here is what is equally true. Those systems are not fixed. They respond to input. They respond to what you feed them, when you feed them, how you protect the repair window at night, and how consistently you support the gut bacteria that regulate your immune response. Morning and evening are your two most powerful windows. Not because of some mystical reason, but because of the specific biological cycles that govern your immune activity and your cellular repair. What you do in those hours every day is either supporting those systems or quietly working against them. The Japanese daily habit that researchers have studied for decades is powerful not because it is exotic. It is powerful because it is consistent, and because it targets the exact biological systems that matter most after the age of 50. Your body is not failing you. I want you to hear that clearly. Your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is responding to the environment you are giving it. Every single day, it is responding to the signals you send through the food you eat, the time you eat it, the quality of your sleep, and the health of the trillions of organisms living in your gut. The question is not whether your body can fight back. It can. It is designed to. The question is whether you are giving it what it needs to do that job. So starting tomorrow morning, not next week, not after you feel more ready, but tomorrow morning, what will you choose to do differently in that first hour? And tomorrow evening, in those last 2 hours before you sleep, what will you choose to protect? Small, consistent choices. Done twice a day. That is what this comes down to. If something in this teaching shifted how you see your own body and your own daily habits, if it gave you something you did not have before, then please share it with someone who needs it. Parent, a sibling, a friend who is over 50 and has never been told any of this. And if you have not subscribed yet, I would like you to do that now. Because this is what I do. I take complex medical science and I translate it into something clear, practical, and usable. And I do not want you to miss the next one. If you are still watching but holding back from subscribing, tell me why in the comments. I genuinely read them. I want to understand you. I will see you in the next one. I am Dr. Hannah Sato. Take care of your body. It is the only one you have.